They're called the Greatest Generation, men and women from all walks of life who grew up in the Great Depression, led our nation to victory in World War II, and helped make America a beacon of freedom and democracy for all the world. And do they have some stories to tell? I'm pleased to be partnering with the New York State Military Museum and Veterans Research Center to preserve the words and memories of many of our World War II veterans. These stories will be entered into the state's archives, where they will be accessible to researchers, academics, and future generations. Our veterans have given so much to help build a brighter future for all Americans. This tribute is just one small way of saying thank you.
Being in the Navy, what's required of you? Where do you go?
We was aboard the ship. Aboard the ship with Boston. We was headed for Pearl Harbor, because that's where they wanted us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got set probably outside New York City, maybe closer, and we got orders not to go in. He says there's about 50 more planes up there, 60. He says we've already lost all of our power, gun power, from the ships. Because see, they sunk most of our ships, we had no power. No guns going, only machine guns. We was knocking them down with that. So they told us to stay where you're at, but he says protect yourself because we can't let you come in. If you come in, what would one ship do with 50 planes? He says it's a brand new ship, there's no need of sinking it. So stay where you're at and protect yourself, which we did. We was doing what they call draglers, I'll say draglers, but there was what the ships were coming in. But the ships that was coming in, it was cargo ships. We was guarding the cargo ships that go in.
And you were on the oil tanker, right?
No, I was on the board the Baltimore.
I don't, not.
No. And aboard the Baltimore, and we went into Okinawa first.
And what did you do there?
We bombarded the islands.
Talk about that experience.
Like an island, huh?
Talk about when you got to Okinawa.
Well, we loaded up with ammunition, oil, and fuel, and everything, and headed for Iwo Jima. And we got to Iwo Jima, and then we hit that. What we done by me mentioning hitting it, what I mean, we opened up with all of our guns we had. We had 100 and some odd guns aboard the ship.
And this is on the Baltimore.
Yeah, and we opened up with our fires and firing, and we drove the enemy back into the islands, on the other side of the islands. The only reason we drove them there, because the ones on the other side of the island waiting for them. But the Japanese did not know that we was over there. So when we started to fire in the land of invasion, when we started that, they moved. They knew they couldn't get us in because we were too far out, but we could get them.
So talk about your experiences again when you're on the ships and you're engaging in combat.
Well, I was on
What's that like?
I was on a 5-inch 38 gun, and there was 8 of them on there, I think.
Make believe you're experiencing yourself and you'll be able to
Each
get
one of
it.
these I was on. I was on one right there. Well, you can see them yourself, the guns, the size of them. Them is the ones we use when we first go in, and it'll knock the enemies back in somewhere.
That's just me.
So you were part of the first wave then?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
Was that nerve-wracking at all? Were you nervous being part of the first wave?
No, you can't be nervous because you know we got guns there that we're probably shooting them 5-inch 38s and the machine guns, 50 caliber and something else. I can't remember them all, but they shoot far from the Bonetta. The 5-inch 30s, something to go far from here to Fulton, the yellow ones. the big guns firing through the Fulton.
So what would have been your reaction the first thing you got into the battle? That's what he wants to know.
They'd say battle station. They'd call to our battle station. You'd have a horn, like over a speaker, and they'd tell us we're on battle. Well, they wouldn't have to tell us because we'd hear them coming and we'd see them. And that's when we'd start opening fire on them. And the first thing we'd look for is a torpedo plane. They were suiciders. They'd dive right at you. I got hit in the back with a piece of metal from one of the suiciders. I was standing in chow line. I got hit in the shoulder with a piece of metal. I had it for a long time. I don't know where it is now. So you're in a room about this big, if not bigger, and you got 2 guns here and 2 guns here. You don't do too much talking because you can't. You got your eyes on there, see? And you just keep opening fire.
Mhm.
The shells are about that big. And we just keep fighting until they tell us to stop, that's all.
How many
And
guys
when
on
we
a gun?
stop is when we shut our guns down and head back out at sea, far enough so we're far enough away from the guns that they got. And their guns would fire from here to, probably far from here to, not even to Fulton. I'd say Minetta. That's as far as their guns, but ours, the big ones there, the big guns would go 15 miles. That's on the horizon, 15 miles, the horizon, as far as you can see. And when you get to the horizon, you have to quit, because you ain't hired anything or nothing's around. Unless it's a suicider that's coming in or a straggler, then we knock him down. And
So what happened after you attacked some of the islands there? What was your job after that?
after we shot it, well, what we'd do would go back out at sea and reload everything, clean up everything if we got hit or anything like that. And we'd load up and get all settled down, let the guys get, well, we'd probably fire through the fort and settle down where you didn't have to. Well, guys are still on watch, but we still had to keep an eye open for things. One crew, there'd be one crew down below loading shells.
What was your role? What was your role?
I was first loader on the gun. I'd put the shells up in the gun, and I was a trainer, sightseeing, training, find the stuff. And but otherwise, it's just like working in a factory. These guys would fire so long. Then after a while, what the hell do they call that? Change shift, something. I can't remember. Can't remember what they'd call that. Anyways, they'd pull this crew off, and they'd go down and have a cigarette sandwich or a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? But you take about 2 hours of loading the guns, man. They're 50-pound shells. That's what monkey around my arms too. I'd done too much ammunition. Because when I come out, I couldn't hardly work, did I? I couldn't.
So do you have any other experiences during your time on the Baltimore that you want to share?
Yeah, our ship, the oil tanker, caught a fire. What happened, we run into a bunch of wolf packs up in Nova Scotia. That's when Crisafulli got killed. And what happened, we had a bunch of submarines all around us, and we had destroyers. Destroyers were protecting our ammunition ships, the ones that carried ammunition and oil. See, if they could knock out our oil ship, they set a fire, the tanker, 180,000 barrels of gasoline, and I don't know how many of oil. Anyway, if they could knock that out, they could knock the fleet out. At least what they would do, they'd knock our, we only got one that way. We knocked the fleet out. They knocked us out, but they didn't sink us. And they didn't stop us from firing because they, well, we're too far away. That's what it was really, yeah. And the only thing, Well, anyway, what happened, the ships, we were here, let's say we were here, the big ships in the center, and all around us was the small ships. We call them tin cans, destroyers. There's probably 25 or 30 destroyers. That was a big, once in a while you would see it on TV. Task Force, I think it was 15 or 17, one or the other. You didn't go by the name of your ship, you just called a number. Because we told them the name of the ship, the Japanese read off, and they had all that. They could tell where. If I called in and tell them I'm on ship 1214 or something, they wouldn't know what it was. But if I said Chemung or something right off the bat, they'd know what it was, the name. See, one of them's tankers were named after rivers, battleships and stuff like that was named after cities and the town, like the New Yorker and North Carolina. See, they were all named after towns and cities. So we never hollered out the name as all the number. They didn't know what it was. And the only different ones that tell a number or the name and talk was the Indians. See, the Japanese broke our code. And we were out at sea firing here. Everything has to be fired here to Bonetta, because that's our small guns and everything. And once in a while we'd open up the big ones to keep driving them back farther into the woods and the mountains. And they'd get us by our number, but they didn't know what the number was. If it could be a boat, a little canoe or something.